20 drivers on the grid, all battling for glory.
And is a 7-time champion of the world!
With sometimes a couple minor hiccups. That is what Formula 1 is all about, and me, you, and pretty much everyone else in the world has a favorite driver in Formula 1. Well, those who even watch Formula 1 in the first place. You might like this driver because of their personality, because the way they race, because something about them, and usually similar people to you like similar things. So therefore, each driver probably has some kind of category of people who like them. Therefore, today we're going to go through what your favorite driver says about you. And if your name is Karen, or you're one to bitch about things, then tough luck. Just deal with it. Honestly, just shut up, please. But with that said, if you think I've missed a couple points about a couple drivers, put it down in the comments, and whilst you're down there,
you need to subscribe, because if you don't, then Max Verstappen will keep on winning races for the next 75 years. How boring would that be?
as Max Verstappen has been taking Formula 1 by storm and pretty much taking every single trophy he can home.
Max Verstappen wins for Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen.
I think it's best if we start with him, and there are only two words to describe pretty much every single Max Verstappen fan. Glory Hunter.
That's all, folks.
Being real, the only reason why you support Max Verstappen is because he's winning. If he wasn't winning, you wouldn't be supporting him. You didn't support him back in 2018, 19, 17, did you? No, you didn't. Back then, he was a driver you partially disliked and found annoying. And now, well, you're all over him. You're literally addicted to him, well, just because he's winning. The day he stops winning, you're probably going to stop supporting him and find someone else. Not someone else, but the person who is winning, and support them. You're just a glory hunter through and through. You don't support him because he is cool. You just support him because he's winning. Or your name is Penelope. The reason you might support a Formula 1 driver, maybe they're inspirational, maybe you like their personality, but to support Lance Stroll, you have to be deluded. He doesn't have a personality, he gives one-word answers. And what is that? Is that meant to be cool?
No.
You know, Kimi Raikkonen made it work, that's because he was good. But Lance Stroll, he is literally the polar opposite of Kimi Raikkonen. Whilst Kimi Raikkonen was literally carved out of some kind of marble stone, an absolute warrior, well, Lance Stroll is, well, more often than not, crashing into someone else rather than actually on track. Absolutely delusional to even support him, because what are you supporting him? Supporting him finishing P18 every race? He's not going to win a race. He's not going to win a championship. What's the real point? He's a lost cause. The only reason why he's in Formula 1 is because his dad owns a team. That is kind of sad. Delusional fans, he's not winning anything. Now, going from someone who literally drives like a rookie on track, that being Lance Stroll, I think it's best if we talk about Fernando Alonso to lift up the spirit. Fernando Alonso, he is, well, one of the only great Formula 1 drivers left in Formula 1. Absolutely also carved out of marble and doesn't stand for any bullshit. He stands on business, he doesn't complain, he just drives what he's meant to drive. He's an absolute warrior. He doesn't give two flying fucks about anything and will diss anyone, hate on anyone he wants, and that is respectable. Truly, to be a Fernando Alonso fan, you really have to be an alpha, or a single female who is in their mid-60s and, well, you're looking for someone, but you stumble across Fernando Alonso. Similar age, both 60, and you, well, you're a fan of him because you're single.
I'm still the bad guy.
Now, for like the last couple drivers, I've given like a couple options of what kind of person may like the certain driver. But to be a Logan Sargeant fan, there really is only one type of person who likes Logan Sargeant. And that is some kind of patriotic American. I don't know why you guys glorify Logan Sargeant like he's going to be the next Schumacher. He's not your Pookie Bear. He's not none of that. He doesn't know you. He is just a bit crash prone, isn't he? You guys probably wake up every morning and see the American flag up on your ceiling. Patriotism at its finest. You stand up onto your nice American flagged rug, look over to your wall and see a Logan Sargeant poster. Those are genuinely the only people who support Logan Sargeant, because to support someone who is literally crashing out every single weekend, yeah, I don't know who would do that. Now, don't get me wrong, if you think that Logan Sargeant fans are patriotic, I don't think you've ever seen or ever heard of an Esteban Ocon fan. Because to like Esteban Ocon, you have to be French. You have to be French through and through, listening to this all of the time. Not only is Esteban Ocon one of the most hated drivers on the grid, nobody likes him, and none of the drivers even like him either.
One more race and then it's over, finally.
He's had beef with Sergio Perez. He's nearly got into a boxing fight with Max Verstappen and nearly even made a diss track out of it. And for anyone to like him outside of the French country, that's very hard to do. There isn't any fans of Ocon who aren't French. Alpine's a French team. Esteban Ocon is French. French people are French. You know, it's a big triangle of Frenchness. In this world, there are probably one too many Charles Leclerc fans. Now, fair enough, you might like him because you think he's good looking. You might like him because he's actually a good driver and the best qualifier on the grid. But more often than not, every single Charles Leclerc fan is a druggie. They're on harder drugs. They sniff cocaine every single weekend. They inject heroin and probably abuse Trent at the gym. Charles Leclerc fans, they're hard on drugs. Why, you might be asking? Well, that is because you must be taking some hard copium if you think that Charles Leclerc will ever win a championship at Ferrari. Is he championship material? Yes. Is he going to win a championship at Ferrari? No. Will Ferrari produce a good car? Probably never in our lifetime. The fans are either always high or just always crying. Because the emotional rollercoaster that Charles produces out of his own driving is one that, well, matches.
In Spa, he wins in Monza! No!
Hamilton is a driver that single-handedly has the most fans in Formula 1 probably ever. And why is that? Well, he's pretty much won it all. You have to respect him.
The World Championship record is equalled. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
But to say that all of these fans came before the Mercedes days, I would be lying, because every single fan of Lewis Hamilton is someone, well, who doesn't even watch Formula 1. The only driver that they know about in Formula 1 is Lewis Hamilton. They support him because, well, they're sheep. They hop on that Hamilton train and that's the only driver they actually know. And that's why, if someone asks them, who's your favorite driver? It's always, Lewis Hamilton. Guarantee you, you don't even know what he looks like. You just say that to fit in and blend in because you don't want to be different. And you just want to be another little glory hunter. That's what you are. I challenge you, walk up to anybody on the streets and ask them, who is your favorite Formula 1 driver? If they say, I don't know anything about Formula 1, still ask them, but who is it though? 9 times out of 10, they will say Lewis Hamilton. I guarantee you that. Or Max Verstappen if they're another little fucking glory hunter. Now, what I'm about to say is absolutely gonna deeply and very deeply hurt my soul. Daniel Ricciardo, his fans... Daniel Ricciardo, his fans, they're pretty much and single-handedly only Drive to Survive fans. They started watching Drive to Survive maybe in 2018. They saw Daniel Ricciardo. He's the main person that Drive to Survive, the only driver that they really care about. Yes, he's funny. Yes, he's a cool guy. And they only watch Drive to Survive and therefore support Daniel Ricciardo. Most of the time, his fans are females between the ages of, say, 15 to 35. One day they were scrolling through Netflix and they were like, Drive to Survive. Clicked on it and Daniel Ricciardo is pretty much at every single scene. And therefore their favorite driver is Daniel Ricciardo. Or you're just a real one. You like the jokes, you like the laughs, you don't like being too serious in life. And that is what it's all about. But if Daniel Ricciardo wants to maintain his fans, then he probably should start pumping in some more good performances, because P19s, P18s, and DNFs, they aren't gonna cut it, mate. Just get back to work. George Russell used to be called Mr. Consistency, but he's been screwed over by Mercedes on multiple occasions. He's gotten a tiny bit angry here and there, and sad here and there. To let out his frustration, he's done some bad things. Now, what do I say to terrorism? Boo!
I would like to be a terrorist.
Now, I might have trashed on every single driver's fans so far, but this is where it changes, because Carlos Sainz, his fans are one of the real ones, genuinely. They're probably slightly older men who have been following motorsport their whole life. Not just Formula 1, but IndyCar, NASCAR, Rally, everything there is. They know the name Sainz, it's familiar. They've been watching rally for ages, and they know that he's a two-time world champion, Carlos Sainz Sr., that is. They've dabbled into Formula 1, seen that Carlos Sainz is the driver, and they're like, that's my favorite rally driver's son. Oh my god, I need to support him. Very level-headed people, very much respectable, and very much the goats of Formula 1. But it's a shame though that your favorite driver is being booted out of Ferrari, and he's jobless. So you might have to pick a new driver if he's not on the grid next year. Nico Hülkenberg has single-handedly thrown his car into reverse, turned his career from an absolute slump and absolutely stood on business. In my eyes, to be a Nico Hülkenberg fan, you either have to be the Hulk, pretty obvious why, or you are the coolest dad of all time. Nico Hülkenberg, he's a dad. And I'm pretty sure that most dads would, well, like Nico Hülkenberg. Both cool people. I don't know what else to say. That was a bit, anticlimactic. Lando Norris slander. It's about time we talk about Lando Norris, isn't it? Realistically, if you're a Lando Norris fan, you're probably a female. You probably like him for his appearances, and you don't really care about his skill level on track. You probably also support him if you're British, because that guy has a lot of fans, and most of them... Lando Norris has a lot of fans. Half of them probably make TikTok edits about him, not his driving, just about him, which I guess is, that is very, very weird and kinda creepy. And then you have the other half which actually appreciate how good he is on track.
Formula 1 world champion.
Formula 1 world champion. To be a world champion.
World champion.
World champion.
I opened the restaurant.
What?
Yuki Tsunoda has no aspirations to win a world championship, win a race, or be good at Formula 1 like pretty much every single other driver. His whole goal in life is to own a restaurant. Therefore, pretty much every single Yuki Tsunoda fan is a nice little food muncher. Someone who is morbidly obese, fat as can be, looking like Gorlock the Destroyer. Someone who just loves food and, well, doesn't care about racing, but just likes the fact that Yuki likes food. These type of people, they struggle to make it up the stairs without sweating and panting and having a difficult time. But I guess you and Yuki have something in common. You both like food. I guess that's pretty respectable. Previously, I said that every single Lance Stroll fan is delusional, but to be a Checo Perez fan, you also have to be delusional. Because there's no way he's ever going to beat Max Verstappen. He's never going to win a championship or win a race, most probably. I mean, at the moment, he's also struggling to get onto the podium. And a race win? Yeah, I don't know when you got Max Verstappen, Hamilton, Alonso, Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz. It's just not happening. Just accept it. And to the people who support Checo Perez and think he's going to do well, you're either delusional or you're just Mexican. You support him because he's your boy from your home country. And I guess, yes, you should be supporting someone from your home country. You got to represent, right? But, yeah. Checo Perez fans, they're probably Mexican or just very much delusional. Yeah, well, Zhou Guanyu's fans, they're only Chinese. Nothing wrong with that, but his fans are only Chinese. Kevin Magnussen arguably this year has been the greatest driver, well, this year and probably of all time. He is standing on business. If he says no, you're not getting past, you are not getting past. Whether it be his incredible defending or maybe sometimes over-the-top defending, he is standing on business. And every single fan of Kevin Magnussen, well, they also stand on business. With crazy-ass responses like this.
Suck my balls, man.
Oh! You get shit done. You are breaded out of your mind and you do not care about anything. You're there for your team. You're there to win and you're not losing anytime soon. Stand on business. Don't lose.
To whom it may concern you.
Now that is what most Mercedes fans remember Valtteri Bottas as, but now he is quite ass. See that? Bottas, ass, and plus he's doing all those ass calendar things. You know what I'm saying? It all makes sense. What am I talking? Ever since Valtteri Bottas left Mercedes, he's been kind of washed, more washed than the waves of the Atlantic. If you're a fan of Valtteri Bottas, then you probably cry yourself to sleep every night. You're probably also a fan of Mercedes and you miss the old times. You miss the old times. You miss the times when Mercedes actually also stood on business and were actually good. Because this is what they used to look like.
Bottas crosses the line to win the Turkish Grand Prix.
And now...
Hamilton is out of qualifying
You sit in the shower and you cry. That is what you do because you miss the days where Valtteri Bottas actually had a good career and Mercedes weren't fumbling the bag every single race. Let's just be real, every single Piastri fan is a bit awkward. You don't really have many social skills. You can't really talk to people. It's just a bit weird when you try to talk. You're a cool guy though, you're funny. Just a bit awkward. And your catchphrase is, nah, I'ma do my own thing like Miles Morales. He didn't want to go to the Alpine seat, and he really didn't go to the Alpine seat, did he? He more took Ricciardo's seat and, well, ruined his career. If your favorite driver is Pierre Gasly, you're a real one. You see talent where talent is. He got dropped by Red Bull, but that didn't stop him to win a race in an AlphaTauri. Absolute goat of a driver and pays respect to Hubert anytime he can. Genuinely, Gasly fans are pretty good, eh? Not a lot of them, but when there is one, pretty solid guy, pretty solid gal or guy, whatever you are. And finally, no bias in this whatsoever. If your favorite driver is Alex Albon, you're just the greatest of all time. As I said, no bias, but that's just how it is. If you enjoyed the video and want to add something down in the comments, do that. Add some of your own things, whatever you want to say. Do what you want. I'm not going to tell you. But I am going to tell you to subscribe. If not, I'm going to be very upset and we won't have a championship battle this year. I've rigged it. I've got the script and I can change the script if you want me to. So just subscribe and I'll do that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't fall under a car and don't die. Hope you have a safe and fantastic rest of your day. Please don't die. Anyway, peace.
That's all, folks.